Ellen ends up sitting in the rocking chair in the house at the end of the movie. So there are such beautiful parallels, and Kerstin really did that. You really did that, Kerstin. I just want to
Thank
clap for
you.
you.
But we just have to pick ourselves up and keep going.
You ever miss Grandpa Wall?
Hell no.
This is Vanessa with Culture Collective. Is it Kirsten or Kirsten? Just want to make sure I'm correct.
That's so funny. It's sort of an ongoing joke. It's
Especially with me.
Kirsten, like
Kirsten.
Kiara says, Care Bear. But I answer to, you wouldn't believe it. Kirsten,
I've called her everything.
It doesn't bother me.
Kirsten, I'll call you Kirsten. I love that. I love that version.
Thank you.
Kirsten. That helps. The Care Bear helps.
Good.
Did you tell me that before?
I should have.
You should have.
And is it Kiara or Kiara?
Kiara.
Kiara. Perfect. All right.
And it's Penelope.
And it's Penelope. Thank you for
I've been called Penelope, so it's
Penelope
okay.
is good.
No.
Yes, Johnny Carson called me Penelope.
Oh my God.
I said he goes, I'm sorry I mangled your name. I said, that's quite all right, Johan.
That's great.
Yeah.
I wanted to start with Kirsten. You and Jack Bryant have done projects together in the past, and I'm curious about how you guys decided, or how you decided to the shape that this movie would take, being set in Texas, 3 generations of sharp women, and one of them being a Black daughter. Just kind of curious about that.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, Jack and I went to grad school together. So we've been working together for a long time. And this story was so personal to him because it's his story. So in his life, Jack was Kiara, Haley, and he wanted to write about his mother and his grandmother. And Jack has a half sister who is mixed race and somewhat similar to Haley, but really personality wise, she's more like Jack. So with Fairhaven, I had a little bit more to do with the writing process with Jack, with the story um, of the film. But this one he wrote, on his own, based on his life. And he shared pieces of it with me along the way. And I knew I wanted to direct it. I related to so much about it. His family reminded me so much of my family. A lot of the themes struck me. Um, and so anyway, it was really clear to me really early on that I wanted to direct this film. I was grateful that he wanted me to tell his story. And I've been involved with it since, those early seeds of development.
Nice. There were a lot of flashback moments that were like, a lot of flashback moments tend to be ham-fisted in there and not so cohesive with the story, but these were done so beautifully, walking through the house, the diaries. Can you talk me through like integrating them organically throughout the film so they feel part of the story?
Sure, thank you. It's so funny. During, the development process, so many people said the flashbacks are confusing. We don't get it. We have to take the flashbacks out. And I kept saying, flashbacks aren't confusing. I can guarantee you've seen a flashback in something like this week. It happens all the time, and you know what's happening. I had done flashbacks in Fairhaven. I don't think anybody was ever confused. Um, but this film, I mean, Jack did write it, started the process of integrating these flashbacks, just sort of flowing through the house in and out of time. He wrote it that way. And then my creative wheels started spinning. And when Pascal, the DP, and I started working together, we just sort of went like creatively crazy and came up with these real-time in-camera lighting changes and time changes. And once we picked the house in Austin and saw the layout, we realized more so sort of how we could incorporate the Steadicam winding through the whole downstairs of the house. And some of the flashbacks were single take Steadicam sequences that literally went through every room in the house. And just for timing purposes, we had to chop them up. We kept the dining room sequence in real time, But I mean, just creatively, I was so excited to take this on, and uh, having just a little bit more money than I had in my first one, I was just so excited to have a little more time and a little more creative freedom.
Nice, thank you. Penelope, Verna with the knife and the middle finger, the laughing at the funeral, like she's such a force of nature. And how do you like play someone that has suffered abuse, has seen it happen to her family, is in the aftermath of a stroke? Like there's just so many layers to this character. How do you kind of just dive into it and give her that much life and beauty, you know?
Well, it was there on the page, so that helped tremendously. They allowed me to ad lib a few things because I have a lot of family from Texas, so there was little sayings and wording that my aunts and uncles and grandparents and what have you would say. And so I would throw them in there, and some stayed in and some didn't. But it was just this, I channeled a lot of that family that I had experience with as a child. And it was so fun to play a character like her because, as you see in the flashbacks in the earlier scenes, she's much more sort of strict and reserved, and you can't say that, we don't talk about these things, da, da, da. Then by the end, after the stroke, she's like, no filter, and she's just freed. She's kind of liberated, and it's like that tragedy creates this opportunity for her family to come together in order to really be able to let go of the past and the friction and and there's a lot of shame. Like my character has a lot of shame and guilt, and yet I wanted to protect, because I didn't feel I could protect my own children. I wanted to protect my granddaughter. And that to me was so beautiful and so real. And that's where the knife came in and was like, you ain't messing with this child. Like not in my lifetime. Like that's it. Like she finally stands up to her abusive husband. Kiara has that moment in the cafeteria where she finally stands up to the bullies. I mean, there's just moments in this movie that I feel like everybody's like, yes, yes, finally, like good, but it's real. It's authentic, and it comes from a place where you see the buildup, and that's why the flashbacks, I think, are so incredibly helpful, because they help tell the story of why we're at where we're at. And just to also not care about how I looked. It's like a little jarring when I'm watching it, let me tell you. But the house dress and the wig and but that's my family, where they wore the house dresses and the slippers and the curlers in the hair and all that stuff. And so it was so much fun for me, and it was so liberating and freeing to play someone like Verna, who just doesn't give a fat rat's ass. Like she's beyond that now. And I know they're older people, they say babies, like young children and older people always get to that place, where they just so, I don't care anymore. I don't care what anyone thinks, I don't care about being judged. And because when you're a baby, you don't know better when you're little. And then when you're finally, a much older person, you're like, oh, really? I've spent my whole life worrying about that. Who cares? So it was a really fun part to play. And I thank Jack, for making this, writing his story, letting himself be not only a woman, but a woman of color. Like that's like tremendous. And and Kirsten's vision was just so palpable, and Erika's performance as well as Kiara's, and just everybody, even all the guys in the movie who were not the greatest guys, but they were fantastic. So it all came together, and it was a passion project. So, I was thrilled to be a part of it.
Awesome. She mentioned Kiara. She mentioned Kiara. She mentioned the scene in the school. I actually wanted to bring that up. You standing up, Haley standing up to her mom, or Haley standing up to her bullies, but also kind of standing up to her mom in the kitchen, which caused like a cascade of issues. How do you like? Okay, so can you talk about the parallels there, like in that moment of standing up to your bullies and their mom, but also just like feeling all those emotions as a 16-year-old? You talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I said before, I remember being 16 and I feel like I had a lot of emotions bottled up, the teenage angst, it's like it's just unavoidable. But I think, you know, Haley grows up so much during the film, and it's literally shown like through the way she's doing her hair, or the outfits she's trying to be more creative with. But I definitely think in the scene with the bullies, everyone reaches a breaking point, you know, everyone can't deal with something forever. And especially you're going to talk about the woman who raised me and who you don't know at all, and I love so much and have so much respect for. Maybe her also telling that to Ellen, she kind of had a little fire in her already, you know, like she had a little extra battery put in. And really to see the woman she just stood up for to those bullies hit her after that, it's kind of a juxtaposition, like, wait, I really was standing up for myself, but so you don't want me to stand up for myself? I can't trust you, the one person who has always been there for me. There's so many parallels in the movie, like even between Haley's character, but between all of the women. There's the scene where Verna is sitting in the rocking chair in front of the house, and then Ellen ends up sitting in the rocking chair in the house at the end of the movie. So there are such beautiful parallels, and Kerstin really did that. You really did that, Kerstin. I just want to clap for you.
That was, I have to say, one of the hardest scenes I did was slapping you in the face. It was so, like, right after it happened, like, all the emotions were like, it was just this, what did I just do? I can't believe I hurt her. I can't believe that came out of me. Like, and it was all the stuff that I probably, like, it just from all my past that came up. And then this, like, well, you don't talk to your mama like that. You know, they're like, respect. It was just, but then, like, how could I do this to her? And I remember when I watched it in the movie, I started crying. I was like, oh my God, this is so painful. It just was so painful. But that's what's so, it's like life isn't pretty, it's messy. And she's a mess. She's messy. She's just kind of like trying to figure it out. And am I doing the right thing or the wrong thing all the time? And I feel like that's just life. And that's what made the movie, I think, so relatable.
And that's actually such a very real depiction of someone with dementia. My grandma had dementia. I watched her die of dementia. And for a sporadic thing like that, like you say, you've never hit Haley. She's never hit Haley in her life, or even Ellen, really. So that's a very accurate depiction of someone who is losing their mind. So I think the writing and your choices also, it was just very accurate of someone who's battling with dementia, and the effects of it. Not only it doesn't only impact that person, it really impacts the entire family. Like everyone's life is completely changing.
Yeah, a friend of mine saw the movie, Trisha Fisher, her sister's Jolie Fisher, and their mom, Connie Stevens, and went through a stroke and similar behavior patterns. And she saw the movie the other night at the LA premiere, and she just said, I can't believe how you just reminded me so much of my mom. Like the hair, the personality change, the saying weird thing. Like she said, that was the biggest compliment I could get, that somebody who's experiencing that, like right now in real time, was saying that I did that, you know, like I was able to pull that off, because I never wanted her to be a caricature or a cartoon character, you know, yet she's funny because she is a character, but like I just always wanted her to come from something, you know.
It
But
definitely was genuine. Even the stove going on fire, my grandma did that and almost burned down her apartment. So it was very accurate.
that's the writing. That's the writing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
clearly
all
that
of
was
it.
That was really based in his reality. Even like so much of it, even the dresses at the funeral, one being inside out, one being backwards. That's a true story. And it's like, well, yeah, how could you make that up?
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I wanted to end it right here. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having us.
You guys have a good one.